This is part 2 of our one-point perspective drawing instructions. And for this drawing, we're going to be making a cityscape with the emphasis on creating the illusion of space. So a cityscape is a composition of an urban environment, such as this, with buildings. And what is a composition? I know you've probably seen that word a couple times recently. I think it was on the test. A composition is the arrangement of art elements on a picture plane to achieve harmony, balance, and emphasis. So the elements of art, lines, shapes, forms, colors, values, textures, and space are like the ingredients, and we are using those ingredients and arranging them on the picture plane in a way to achieve harmony, balance, and emphasis. So the goal of this composition is to achieve the illusion of space, and we're going to use at least 5 of the 7 techniques to do this. So let's just review and give you some examples of what's going on here, what techniques we're using. The first one is overlapping, and we've got for example, we've got this form right here overlapping this form, which is also overlapping the horizon line and the mountains. Okay, so overlapping is the first technique. The second technique is placement. The objects or forms and shapes that are lower on the picture plane, like these, appear closer. We'll say they're in the foreground. Shapes and forms and objects that are towards the middle of the picture plane, we'll say are in the middle ground. They're a little bit further away. And then shapes and objects that are higher in the picture plane, we'll say they're in the background. They appear the furthest away. They're higher on the picture plane. Okay, the third one is diminishing size. And for diminishing size, we have these dashed lines that are receding as they get closer to the vanishing point. We've got doors and windows that are they're bigger here, but then they get smaller here. So they're getting smaller as they go up the picture plane towards the vanishing point. Perspective, well, that one's kind of obvious. We've got a vanishing point. Let me get different color here. We've got a vanishing point. We have these orthogonal lines that go off into space, right, on everything. And we have a horizon line. That's what we need for perspective. And then the last one that we have here is form and details. And like I said in the beginning, these are forms. They look like boxes or cubes. So it's not a shape, it's a form. It has that third dimension. All right. And we also have details. We can see on the objects or the forms that are lower on the picture plane, we can see the details of the texture on the side of these buildings. We can see the details of what's going on inside the windows. We can read the signs clearly. So there's more visible content or details on the objects that are lower on the picture plane than the ones that are further away. There aren't very many visible details on these, and I purposely did that to show you that you can't really see the things that are further away. Okay, and then of course color, value, and chiaroscuro. We don't really have much or any of that going on here, so that would be extra. If you want to include that, you can get extra credit for that on this drawing. Okay, so let's see here. I want to show you 4 other composition ideas that you can use for this. So you don't have to do it in this arrangement. Let's look at 4 other ideas for your composition. So the first one, you can change, here's number 1, you can change the point of view by raising the horizon line towards the top of the picture plane, and now you have more of a bird's eye view. Okay. Another one is, let's see, we can put the horizon line, I don't know, like the top third of the picture plane. And what if we put the vanishing point to one side? And now the orthogonal lines are going off to the side, like that. Another idea, okay, so that was number 2. Number 3 is, what if you lower the horizon line towards the bottom of the picture plane? That would create a viewpoint as if you're closer to the ground, like street level. And then the 4th idea is, oh, by the way, this is a vertical layout. We have another vertical layout of your picture plane, and we can adjust the horizon line towards the upper half, and maybe we can just change the direction of the orthogonal lines and the vanishing point. Okay, so here's 4 other ideas. I'm sure you can come up with more, but I want you to be kind of creative with this drawing. Think of where you could put the vanishing point in the horizon line. And let's talk about the other requirements for this drawing. There has to be 5 buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you need to have 5 buildings. You need to have doors and windows on your buildings. You need to have a person. 1 person walking on the street or the sidewalk, and at least 5 techniques to show the illusion of space. Okay, I'll include an attachment to show you how to draw the windows and doors and the person on the street. So hopefully you will just take some creative freedom and show me, what comes to your mind in drawing a 1-point perspective cityscape.